Hello, dear friends. My name is Sofia Dorinskaya. I am a doctor and the head of the Center for Medical Information. Today, I want to answer the question. Dear Sofia, I wanted to ask, why should we take nicotinic acid if 100 grams of boiled beef contains 9 milligrams of nicotinic acid? Boiled chicken contains 12.4, rye bread has 3.8 potatoes, and so on. Isn't there enough nicotinic acid in foods if a person eats a lot of meat? My friends, in order to determine whether it is enough or not enough, you need to know the pathogenesis, the development of nutrient deficiencies, or a vitaminosis, the pathogenesis or the ways nutrient deficiencies develop. You need to know that now. The daily dose that is declared normal when vitamins were discovered and when studies were conducted, the daily dose was called the minimum daily dose. Now, the word minimum has been removed. What does minimum mean? It's the daily dose. It was measured for a person who is just lying in bed and breathing. And that's it. He doesn't get up, he doesn't work, he doesn't feel heat or cold, and he has a constant supply of food. So tell me, please, is there anyone watching my video right now who lives like that? Do you just lie on the couch like a log and do nothing? The minimum daily dose of vitamins is the amount needed for your heart to beat, your lungs to breathe somehow, and for a person not to die. Everything beyond that, any work, any activity, any external influences, all of that is an increasing factor. Because, excuse me, when it's minus 35 in winter, saying that this level of nicotinic acid is enough for you, when your body is using all its strength to resist the cold, is very naive. Or when it's hot weather and your body's losing energy, also spending its strength. Or the solar radiation present on Earth, which destroys nicotinic acid, sometimes more, sometimes less. But this always happens unless you live in a damp, dark basement and never go out into the sunlight. But even there, solar radiation somehow, in one way or another, the radioactive background will still get through, because zero still doesn't exist on planet Earth. There are ways nutrient deficiencies can develop, such as internal ones. These are various gastrointestinal diseases, organ dysfunctions, when vitamins simply aren't absorbed. Well, they're just not absorbed. That's why, to absorb at least a little bit, you need such a dose so that at least something gets through. For example, when there's a deficiency of nicotinic acid, the walls of the intestines start to degenerate, and they simply don't absorb anything. And somewhere, where there are still some parts of the intestinal wall with unchanged epithelium, that's where, if the nicotinic acid gets through, well, thank you very much. If not, if you gave just a little bit, then again, meat is wonderful. We call vitamin deficiencies aphermatoses. When a person is deficient in vitamins, they don't have enough enzymes to digest food, so the meat should be in small pieces, finely chopped, pured, and so on. You stand there making pâtés out of that kilogram of meat. Do you ever find yourself in situations like that? Well, are there people like that? The modern world, pollution, I don't know, life in cities, all those emissions, wars happening now. It's all these emissions. They spread across the planet. One way or another, we are all under this influence, toxic exposure. So what do we have as non-specific detoxifiers? Vitamins, again, which increase the coefficient. Medications, my dear ones. Those who love to treat everything and anything, who go to the pharmacy and buy everything that isn't nailed to the shelves, and then take it all, even give it to your children, treating them however you feel like, making things up on your own. This is toxic exposure. Every medication has side effects. What does that mean? This is a vitamin deficiency or a complex vitamin deficiency caused by it. Therefore, to say that what you get from meat might be enough for you, maybe, if you live at a constant temperature. Where is it on the Côte d'Azur? Monaco, I think, where the temperature is always steady, around 20 to 22 degrees, with no major changes. Maybe that's how it is somewhere in Switzerland? Well, if you live there, your body doesn't feel stress. If you were originally born from a mother who wasn't deficient, who ate whatever she wanted, including meat, and your grandmother did too, you were well fed, you were born well fed, and you never experienced a deficiency in any nutrient. You have never overexerted yourself in your life. You have never experienced mental or physical exhaustion in your life. You've never felt cold, heat, stress, or anything similar in your life. Maybe that's enough for you. But I want to look into the clear eyes of such a person. I want to see at least one in the world. I'm sorry, but even in royal families there is no such situation nowadays. When only meat contains nutrients, a person only needs the nutrients that are in meat. When you look at their health, you understand, right? It's sad. It's sad. There are people who are healthier. So, to think that in today's world, thinking that we don't need these additional concentrated nutrients, isolated synthetic vitamins, is very naive. It's very naive. It won't be enough. It won't be enough. Moreover, if something happens to your body, well, if you end up in some kind of unstable situation, maybe something starts to hurt, maybe you get a bit of gastritis, maybe you took some pill, well, that's it. All of that goes into the increasing coefficient. Everything goes into the increasing coefficient. In order to take a dose of vitamins, you see, that's all. And practice shows that the doses of vitamins need to be high to be effective. High. And all of this won't be enough, but you don't eat meat for vitamins. You eat it for something else. Easily digestible, complete protein. This is the only product for humans, Kaivak, a product that our body can very easily digest and get the necessary amount of protein from. This is the only product. There is absolutely no other. That's why you eat meat for this. And everything else you supplement with these parts of vitamins. I hope I answered your question. Thank you very much for the question. And if you need to, come to the Center for Medical Information. We will help you. Submit requests for tests. Best wishes. Goodbye. To be continued.